I finally, it's weird, you move to a city and you're like trying to get into your apartment, or for me, it's trying to get settled into my van and how I'm going to navigate the van, how I'm going to use the van. I had my first visitor. I know how to say that word. My first visitor. It was I say old, it was a choreographer of mine that I'd worked with on one of the tours I did way back when. And yeah, 2020, if you can imagine. We've worked together again since, but it's been a while. And his name's Ben, great guy. And he lives just across the river. And it was so fun we went to go see Cocaine Bear, which is a movie. I'm not supporting the use of cocaine. I'm talking about a movie here. And it was one of those movies where the trailers were absolutely hilarious and stupid and wild. And I don't suggest going in entirely sober to watch these movies. But I'm glad I spent an hour and a half watching it, and I found someone to watch it with me. I'm a big movie buff, if you didn't know. So whenever I get the chance, I use my AMC Stubs Premiere, A-list, whatever, and I go see movies. And I think I will do that tonight as well. So these things you just need to be aware of for my life. And I try to keep up to date with all media as much as I can. I'm also watching The Last of Us on HBO with Michaela, my friend that I mentioned before. But main point, I had a visitor here, and we hung out in the van. It wasn't too cold after we'd been walking for a while as well. You kind of get used to the temperature, and it was about 40 degrees when we were hanging out. I only had to turn on the heater for the last 30 minutes, 40 minutes. But I forgot how much I enjoy having people over. It's so much easier in the summer or even spring when I can have doors open and it's a little nicer weather-wise. But, we had enough a little bourbon to keep us warm and things like that. And then I said goodbye to him around midnight, which was great. But it was fun to have some visitor in New York, and it makes me feel like I can actually invite people over now if they just want to hang out, preferably when I have more power and I'm not bothering everybody. I touched on it a little bit when we started today, but I wanted to touch a little more. I don't like that phrasing at all. I wanted to rehash mental health. This could be a trigger warning for some people, so just know big flashing signs that maybe I'll try and throw in there. When I was in high school, 16, and I don't know if I've really talked about this with too many people, but why not? The internet is going to find it out anyway. So I was in a really serious relationship that took a really bad turn. I was 16 at the time, and I had just started struggling immensely with depression. And so much so that I went to the doctor and got prescribed Prozac and stuff, if you're familiar with medicines that they make you take for antidepressants. And it's funny because I never completed a bottle of it. I was so weird about taking medicine, and I didn't think that it was going to actually do anything for me. And I was I made and I don't know if it was informed or not, but I made a choice for myself that I was going to not take the medicine and find holistic, I didn't know the word at the time, but holistic ways to make myself better. And so I tried and I did. And I can say by the end of my time at school in college, so we're talking 6 years later, not quite 5 years later. It took me 5 years to get out of that depressive state, is all I mean. That was going on, plus my mom informed me my freshman year, going into my freshman year, that she had cancer. So that was really big and weighing on me. It was, she said it was going to be terminal breast cancer. So I knew that at any moment we could lose her. So it was not the best state of mind I could have ever been in. But I'm here to say that I don't live depressed anymore. If anything, I only struggle with anxiety now, and obviously a little bit of seasonal depression. I think everybody has a little bit of that. The cold and this time of year is super hard for me. I assume for everyone as well in some way, because I'm such an outdoors person and I like to be doing things. Those feed me, and the more I do them, the better I feel. Whereas I just haven't wanted to get out of bed because the cold. And it's funny because that small little thing, just a change in temperature changes my whole mood, my whole way of living, my whole atmosphere. And I find it so hard that it turns into like anxious energy, and then I'm like, oh, I don't want to meet with people, and then I want to stop making plans, because plans give me anxiety sometimes. And it's interesting. That's why I like to live alone, because I can handle it in my own ways a little easier away from the peering eyes of the public, because I don't think it's fun for anyone to deal with anxiety or depression, let alone in front of roommates who just may not understand why you are standing in one place and neutral. For example, I think of it like I go into like states, not really. I know I'm exaggerating here just for dramatic effect, but go into like full states where I'm like not catatonic, but like I'm gone behind the eyes, because I'm so far twisted in my brain trying to figure out why am I doing what I'm doing, or why am I not doing anything? And I try to understand why and how that is happening. It's a process, but it's something I'm working on and trying to create and maintain an understanding of why I do what I do. I think the only way to really get better from these moments or from these interactions is to study them and analyze them and know that like that's not how you actually are. It's just a moment. And I think that when it comes to mental health, a lot of people forget that that is the thing. It's not permanent. It's not how you're always going to meet or greet someone. You may meet somebody and they're the happiest you've ever seen them, and they're in such good mood, and you're like, there's no way that that person struggles with anything. But at home, whenever they are by themselves or reflecting on something or even thinking about an interaction, that's my problem. Is I'll think about an interaction with someone, and I said one thing, and I'm like, that's not at all what I was trying to get across. It's not at all what I was trying to say. And then you'll fixate and focus on something for so long, and you'll realize, oh, it's been like a half an hour, and I'm still thinking about the same thing, and I don't feel right. I don't feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. All of this to say, you gotta find ways to manage your mental health, especially in new environments, and especially in a confined space where you do have a lot of isolation. I've spent a lot of time with people, but I've also been neglecting myself. It's funny, by being with people, I'm not taking care of myself. By hanging out with others, I'm not taking care of myself. It doesn't make any sense, right? Because you think that they should be supporting and maintaining you. But I've found that my progress and my fortitude, my mental fortitude, are completely lacking now. And I don't know why I've let it get that far. So I'm trying to put it all together and reframe this existence, because as a friend put it, the honeymoon phase of living here is over. Now it's down to business. And now I got to get back to the things that make me happy and get me to the point where I can be happy. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah, I'm focusing on that. So maybe today I just hang out by myself and figure it out. What's to come? This is like pretty much the last thing I want to talk about. Next week is going to be a Ball State week. So I don't know if you noticed, but I am wearing a Ball State t-shirt. Chirp, chirp. I am proud of my alma mater. In terms of, it was a place that I learned a lot about myself. I didn't do everything I should have done. I didn't listen very well, but I don't think that I was given as many opportunities as others. And now I've been making those opportunities for myself. That being said, I will bear witness for the first time to the showcase where they have agents come and see how that works for them. What their curriculum is kind of pushing them toward after 5 years of being out, going on 6. And then also I will go to their cabaret, watch the cabaret, and see some people that I haven't seen since I graduated. And it's going to be a harrowing experience, and I'm very scared, to be honest. Anxious, perhaps, because I didn't leave things in the best of terms when I left school, and I don't think that I knew how to either at the time. So it will be very interesting to see how this all goes about, and I'll keep you all updated with that because, yes, I've seen a lot of my Ball State brethren since I've been here, but I've not seen them all. So we'll just have to see. I can't wait to tell you more and more as we go along. Until next time, I'll see you soon. Look for more content this week for sure.